Nix shells are probably one of the most powerful features Nix has to offer. They literally solve the infamous "it works on my machine" problem for development environments, save you from polluting your system with development Docker containers, and generally make your system more clean and manageable since they are so easy to create, delete, and most importantly, share. Not only that, they also have a ton of cool features many people don't know about, and so in this video, we will learn how to temporarily install packages on your system with Nix shells, write a development shell declaratively, learn to build packages interactively with Nix shells, integrate everything mentioned above with Flakes, and more. So without further ado, let's get straight to configuration. So the easiest way to get into one of these shells is to simply type nix-shell-p and then some package name, or nix shell nix packages sharp package name if you want to do it the Flakes way. Both of these commands will download the package into your Nix store and put you into a shell no different from your regular shell with all your packages and environment variables preserved, just with the addition of the package you specified. Meaning you can try out all kinds of GUI or terminal tools this way, and once you leave such shell with exit or by just closing your terminal, the package is now gone, you won't be able to access it anymore, and it will not pollute your user environment. But you might be wondering, if we exit the shell and the command disappears, does that mean the package was deleted from our system? And if so, would we have to download every package all over again each time we enter a shell? Well, the answer is quite simple. Nix, by its nature, does not automatically expose every package you download to your user environment. So if we were to search for a file named node in the /nix/store directory, we would easily find it just casually sitting there and occupying some precious megabytes of your drive, waiting to be used again. So if you enter a shell with this same package again, it will simply use the one you already have in your Nix store instead of downloading it anew. As a matter of fact, you would probably see many Node.js's there, depending on how often you garbage collect your Nix store. And fortunately for your disk space, since Nix shells are temporary, any packages you install with them basically become orphaned once you exit. So the next time you garbage collect your Nix store, all the packages downloaded for shells will be deleted for good, keeping your system clean and giving you plenty of room for experimentation both literally and figuratively. But the only thing to be cautious about is that the shells you enter are not some kind of isolated containers, and only affect the packages and environment variables. So any changes you make to your system while in the shell will still remain there after you leave it. Which is actually a good thing for their general use cases like development or tinkering, since you obviously want to interact with your project files from within your Nix shell. And now that you know how shells affect your system, let's try to create a real and useful shell declaratively. Because while the commands we looked at earlier can be useful to quickly try out packages, we can also define these shells using Nix files, to not only get all benefits of the Nix language, but also make these shells reusable and shareable. So to make such shell, all we have to do is create a shell.nix file anywhere you want, and it will later basically serve as a blueprint of your shell, similar to what Docker file is to Docker. Now let's open this file and define our first shell. And because Nix language is very flexible, there are actually many ways this file could be written. However, the most general approach I recommend you go with looks something like this. Here we have a very basic Nix function that takes a set parameter that you can pass any version of Nix packages to, and if you don't, it will import it from your system. This function then returns the result of another function called makeShell that comes from the Nix packages instance we requested at the top, and it allows us to define shells in this set right here. This structure is very flexible because we can use it both with or without flakes. I'll show you how we can call it from a flake in a moment, but now let's check what we can actually do in this file. So the first and most useful option of makeShell is called packages, which we can obviously fill with some packages you might need in a shell, like Node.js if you are going with a JavaScript shell, Python if you are going with a Python shell, or any development dependencies like linters or language servers can also go there. We can also include dependencies of other packages in this shell by adding them to the self-explanatory inputs from list. So in this example, we would also get all dependencies of the bat Rust program in our shell, giving us access to the Rust compiler and whatever else it might depend on. The shell hook option allows us to run any bash code upon entering the shell automatically, And of course, we can also define environment variables here, because everything not recognized as a shell option will be set as an environment variable, which can be particularly useful for installing shared libraries or setting variables often needed by specific programming languages. And now, to finally enter our shell, we can simply use the nix shell command in the shell's parent directory, which will evaluate all dependencies, download the required packages into the nix store, and then run the shell hook before putting us into the shell. Inside of it, we can do all of our development, building or testing like normal, and as you can see, we have access to both Node and Python from the dependencies, as well as the Rust compiler from the dependencies of bat. And if you want to use any graphical code editors like VS Code or JetBrains, opening them from this shell will also expose the packages to them until closed. And closing the terminal or exiting the shell will of course return you to your normal shell as if the packages and environment variables were never there to begin with. But the nix shell command is a non-flake way to do it, and if you are a GigaChat that has flakes enabled, then nix shells can offer even more power to you. And so to put a shell inside a flake, all we have to do is create a basic flake with some nix packages instance, and then simply assign the default dev shell of your system's architecture to the imported shell.nix file that we created earlier. Or if you want, you can actually call the function right here. All the options stay the same, nothing else changes, except we now have much more control over the inputs of our shell and can mix and match packages from different versions of nix packages. Let's now try to activate our shell, now using a nix develop command, and this command will once again put us into the same nix shell, but the dependency management and downloading is now done with flakes, meaning you can share this flake with a friend or a colleague and be sure that all package versions will stay 100% consistent. I won't go into the details of using flakes in this video, because I've already made a video about them and all their advantages, so if you are interested, you will find a link in the description. Anyway, so now that we know how to make your own development shells, let's once again take a look at all shell-related commands we use today and learn more about them. Because I don't know about you, but personally, the naming of some of them made the use cases quite unclear to me at first. So as we learned in the beginning, the first command, nix shell, can be used to get quick access to any packages and enter shells written in shell.nix files. But another, less obvious use case it has is entering interactive package building shells. Imagine you're working on a package and really want to walk through the build process step by step in an isolated environment. Well, it would be your lucky day then, because this long and cumbersome command is here to the rescue. This command evaluates our derivation with call package and puts you into a shell isolated from your user environment but not your file system, with access to all dependencies you need to build your package as well as all build phases as commands. So in this example, I have a very minimal version of the GNU Hello World derivation, and if we now run this command in the directory of our default.nix file, we will enter a shell equipped with everything we need to build it. And now comes the fun part. We can now imagine that we are nix and try to build a package by running individual phases and observing the result. So let's first enter a temporary directory not to pollute our system, then ask nix to run the unpack phase for us since our source is a tarball, cd into the directory it created, where we can run configure phase, build phase, check phase, or even any custom phases we have there. And keep in mind that you can easily stop in between every phase and do any modifications you want, as well as check for any errors in your package's build process, which is just incredibly useful. But that was once again a non-flake way to do it. And if we want to do it with flakes, we can once again create a basic flake, assign our package to the default package output of our system's architecture, and run a basic nix develop command. Wait, what? Wasn't this exact same command used to activate dev shells? And the answer is, yes it was. An interesting fact incoming, like everything in nix, shells are just derivations. Moreover, the make shell function we looked at earlier is basically just a wrapper of make derivation, which means you can also define build phases or basically anything from make derivation in your nix shells. And as for the nix develop command, it simply takes whatever is available in your flake. You have a nix shell, it will activate the nix shell. Otherwise, it will activate the package's build shell. And since we were talking about flakes right now, we cannot forget about the URL syntax at our disposal. It can be used with every flake command we looked at today, meaning we can enter all kinds of shells hosted anywhere on the internet, and I simply cannot stress how powerful that can be. And now, I'd like to thank everyone who supports the channel and keeps it going, more specifically, Hoskins, Lassalus, Olaf K. Freund, Not a Nut Router, Not a Nut, Xavier, Albert C., Pete 3M, Thibault Moll, Shen, Zed, Zach Beer, This is Liam, Much to Less, Bastian Asmussen, Allergic Duck, Nemo, Zamino, Veronica, Firesquid 6, Lucian Thor, Tim Lepace, Irkuri, Fernando Alex, GNRLVCNT, Tom Mainen, Wadsec, and of course everyone who supported the channel previously. As usual, don't forget to check out our Discord server, leave a like or a comment if you enjoyed this video, or subscribe if you are feeling extra generous. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.